It is 4:50 in the morning in Malmö, Sweden, and my alarm has just gone off. I have now about 20 minutes to brush my teeth, get dressed, and run for the bus that will take me to the airport. So stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Stephanie. I live in Malmö, Sweden, and I have been here for 7 years. So basically, in order for me to get to London to vote, I first have to cross from Malmö to Copenhagen. That's usually done by a train. I have made the bus. Now I'm on the bus on the way to the train station to catch my train to the airport. And I realized I didn't brush my hair. That's okay. It is now about 5:40 in the morning, so not even 6 o'clock yet, and I am now on my train to the airport. So I'm about to cross over from Sweden to Denmark. I do not anticipate any problems. And stage 2 is to get from Copenhagen to London. In the video clips I showed you, first there was a train pulling up into the station, and then you could see all the barriers and even guards walking by. So that's the first checkpoint you have to get through. So when you get there, they want to see your papers and you need your air ticket. So I had to show my air ticket out of Denmark to Heathrow. I have now made it into the airport and successfully into Denmark. I am now at the immigration to get on the flight because I'm leaving the Schengen zone for UK. There are no officers there at the moment, so we're just waiting for them to get back, and we shall see how this leg goes. After that was the flight to Heathrow. That in itself was also a challenge because there were many restrictions for travelers going to the UK. One of the restrictions was that you had to quarantine for 14 days. There were a couple of loopholes, and one of them was that you were allowed to leave your quarantine to fulfill a legal obligation. And the other one was you're allowed to leave quarantine to leave the country. And someone checked with the health department that it was possible to do that. So that's what we did. One more problem with London was that the UK was not accepting any travelers from Sweden because of the way Sweden has not locked down. So I was just kind of hoping that they didn't notice that I was coming from Sweden because I was flying from Denmark. So luckily for Singaporeans, it's a fast track. And as long as I filled out the forms, they didn't really check. So made it through immigration, relatively easy. Fast track works. Just through the gates, no immigration officer. So here we go. Now we're going to the High Commission to vote. I purposely chose Heathrow because I did not want to risk trying to look for transportation from some other terminal, although the flights were a lot cheaper. It was a very expensive trip. My flights alone cost almost 400 euros. There was the hotel because there was no flight on the same day back. Add onto that, the trains. I think I spent about 500 euros in this trip. I'm on my home stretch now to the High Commission to cast my vote. And once that's done, I will have this journey to repeat on the way back tomorrow. Anyway, it's only once every 5 years, right? Door to door would have been about, I would say, 7.5 hours. However, it was really interesting with the return journey because when I got to the airport, the officer there told me that Denmark was not accepting visitors. So when I showed him my my visa, he said, okay, but that's for Sweden. And he said at the moment, the only Swedish people that Denmark is letting through was from a different province or a different state that I'm living in. So he made a few calls, asked a few questions, that sort of thing. And apparently I was not the only one with this problem, but it was also a little bit iffy, even the return journey. So I wasn't sure if I could make it there. And it turned out that I was also having trouble getting back. And I know that for a lot of people, they didn't go and vote because of that problem. They wouldn't have been allowed back. For me, voting is very important because that is the basis or the fundamental of democracy. You cannot change anything in Singapore without parliament. Laws cannot get changed. The constitution cannot be changed. And these things need to evolve. And the only way for that to happen is by voting. It all starts from voting.